Fighting games are a wide, expansive genre. The phrase, "I can't get into fighting games," is an anomalous, generalizing term that reaches very wide to pull fringe conclusions about all games from a limited experience with a few of them. You don't see people saying, "Oh, I can't get into platformers." I think it's a more accurate term to say that the games I tried didn't feel right or didn't meet my needs. Fighting games are a genre, and like any genre, there are differences from game to game, and with difference must come preference. Let's take Tekken, for example. I've tried on 2 separate occasions to get into Tekken, with Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and Tekken 7. But both times, I came away with the same problem. Why does this game feel like shit? You move slow and weird, your attacks are sluggish, and I never feel like I know what I'm doing. This stems from my background in 2D fighters. A game such as Guilty Gear has low attacks be fast, and overhead attacks be slow. This makes for a gameplay loop where you block low most of the time. In Tekken, high and mid attacks are much more common, and low attacks are slower, making for the opposite loop. This alone is enough to throw off my muscle memory and make for a game I can't really enjoy. And so, this leads to a break in today's topic. Why do experienced fighting game players drop a game, and why can a game not keep casuals? Well, I think I can answer both. I'm no expert. If you asked me for my rank in any given fighting game to validate my claims, you'd come away with a big fat nothing, because I don't touch ranked mode with a 10-foot pole. But I've been playing fighting games steadily for 7 years now, and if you'll allow me to be daring for a moment, I'll call that experience. When I go into a new fighting game, I'm looking for what I found in the games I've already enjoyed, or something of an equivalent value. As a Guilty Gear fan, I'm really enjoying my time with Killer Instinct 2013. Both rely on fast pacing, meter management, and keeping a key eye on your opponent's pressure and combo strings for when you can break out. Not to say that the games are identical or anything, just that each game is similar enough for me to enjoy both. But I can't guarantee someone who likes Killer Instinct will like Guilty Gear. What I'm ultimately attempting to quantify is that I have enough experience to know what I like in a game, and I'm able to identify if it's in another game I try. Tekken doesn't have what I like, and so as an extension, I don't like Tekken. That's what stung about Season 4 of Guilty Gear Strive, or Tekken 8 Season 2. What many people loved about these games were just gone with the updates. You don't see many people dropping a classic fighting game. People still play Melee, Marvel 2, and Third Strike. If someone preferred Second Impact to Third Strike, though, that game still exists. But Strive Season 3? That's gone to the void. With fighting games adopting the skin of live service titles, every patch can feel like a Russian roulette game of, do I get to keep the game I like? For casual players, though, not only is this issue increased tenfold, but there's another problem rearing its ugly head: accessibility. I can't expect a new player to get into Guilty Gear, specifically Rev 2, because the game can feel daunting. Someone will boot up Street Fighter 4, mash buttons because they can't do one-frame links, or maybe they don't even know that one-frame links exist, and they'll close out of the game. There's a chance that John, "I've only played COD for the past 10 years, Smith won't even know what a motion input is." Now, SF4 is perhaps a bad faith example. We've come a long way in teaching newcomers how to play fighting games since 2008, and this is a direct consequence of the fighting games are hard mentality. I'm not exempt from this. I can't get into Street Fighter 4 because I can't do links. I'm John Smith! Older fighting games could be hard. No frame buffer, intense execution, and a general lack of teaching tools gave fighting games this reputation. A reputation they haven't been able to shake for 30 years, in spite of their attempts. Someone who isn't going to sit in training mode for hours like me isn't going to fully understand how a link-based game like Street Fighter works, and a game like Guilty Gear can be intimidating. That's where this genre's reputation came from. Fighting games inherently need a baseline of information to be good, no matter how low it is. Mario 3 has a reputation for being hard, but I'll be damned if World 1-1 holds that up. Platformers get to hold your hand and increase difficulty over time, but a fighting game, by its very nature, can't. So, what can get a casual player into fighting games? Well, the first one that comes to me is an IP hook. There's a reason Smash Bros. Is the biggest name in the genre, after all. Games like Persona 4 Arena, 2XKO, or Hunter x Hunter Nin Impact are attached to large brands with recognizable characters that people love. Marvel vs. Capcom has done this so well that it's grown its own legs. no longer attracting simply Marvel or Capcom fans, but Marvel vs. Capcom fans. And this is where I come in. I started with BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle because I saw Persona 4 characters in it, and then I tripped headfirst into Guilty Gear Xrd. People will come in because they like Spider-Man, or, if they're actually cool, Venom, and stay because they learn the mechanics, they learn how to play, and most importantly, they learn what they like and what they don't like. But that transition from casual to committed doesn't always happen cleanly, or smoothly, or in a way that feels fun. A lot of people bounce after their first loss online, or after realizing their game of choice doesn't have enough to keep them outside of player versus player interaction. That's why it's so important to make those early hours rewarding. Not perfect, not necessarily balanced, but satisfying. Enough to give you a reason to ask, what more can I do, instead of why should I care? The best thing a fighting game can do is tempt you into curiosity. And then once they're in, they may hook up with the online community, maybe ask for tips, set up some matches, and then boom, that's a new fighting game player. What's important at the very beginning is this: letting new players do cool shit. Ideally, you let them dip their toes into the water of depth, and then that will have them ask, well, what's possible in the deep end? So, to wrap back around to the main question, what makes a fighting game stick? Well, call it a cop-out, but it's a matter of taste. I sat down and learned Tekken 7 again to get footage for this video. Even knowing what to do and how the game is played and functions, I can't force myself to like it. Demanding that every game suit your personal preference begins to make you sound like an American tourist demanding that the airport staff speak English. Fighting games are a genre, and within a genre is a myriad of different types of different games. So it's up to you to find what you like. So, if you tried a fighting game and it didn't grip you, I'd urge you to try again. Not necessarily something new or something marketed as easier or more accessible, just something different. I'm confident in saying that everyone has a place somewhere in this genre, and I know where mine is. Right here, in Guilty Gear. Thank you for watching.